Welcome back, my name is Amanda. Now, plant care can get confusing, overwhelming, stressful for a lot of people, especially those that are just starting, have a large collection, maybe have a busy life, but still want to be able to care for their plants in their home. But it doesn't have to be like that. So here are my 5 plant care things that you should be doing and what I think are the most important and what really matter. So for number 1, watering your plants. Obviously, this is definitely the most important thing and the most obvious plant care step that comes with taking care of your plants. So you don't need to be watering your plants every day. You probably don't need to be watering them multiple times a week depending on the plant. But if you can get your plant watering routine down to once a week minimum, that's great. Of course, different things are going to affect this, like the time of year. Maybe if it's summertime, your plants are going to be seeing a lot more sun. They're going to be drying out a little faster. They might need more water versus wintertime, which they could probably hold more water longer if you have less sunlight coming in through your windows. And of course, your soil is probably the number 1 factor to this. How fast does your soil dry out? And how well does it retain water? But if you are feeling like you are watering too often for your liking, or you just have some plants that require a lot more water than others, then get rid of them. If you don't love these plants and the cons of caring for them outweighs the joy of having them, then definitely get rid of them. And I don't care how you water, if you're top water, bottom water, whatever, as long as your plants get the water that they need when they need it, then that's fine. And I don't care if you use tap or filtered. I use tap water. I don't have any super sensitive plants, but if you're looking to minimize your plant care routine, I'm going to assume that you probably are not going to buy a plant that requires filtered water. So, okay, number 2, pest checks. Now, pests are inevitably an issue with plants, unfortunately, and so the best way to deal with pests is to be preventative about it, and that's kind of my number 3 as well as number 2, but for right now, you should try to check for pests as often as you can. I'm not going to say check every week because I don't even do that. Once a month, honestly, would be really great. If you can once a month go and thoroughly check all your plants and make sure you don't see any sign of pests, then great. Maybe even once every 2 to 3 months if you can't even get to that, which is totally fine. But obviously, if you can see what looks like to be pest damage or the health of your plants just randomly declining very rapidly, then check your plants because you probably have pests. So once a month or once every 2 to 3 months is perfect as long as you're not seeing any damage or declining of health. Okay, so for number 3, that goes along with number 2, and that is to spray preventatively. Now, I have been very lucky with pests. I have not seen any for a long time. Hoping I didn't just jinx that. But I kind of think it's because I follow this step and my last step when it comes to pests. So now, I don't care what kind of spray you use. It could be your own mix. It could be a store-bought spray, whatever is your preference. But try to stick to a routine when using it. So I used to spray every like 2 weeks. But I kind of don't have the time and forget, and it kind of just got pushed lower and lower on my to-do list, so I shoot for once a month. If you can do your preventative pest spraying once a month, that would be great. It would probably help you out a lot. If you could do every 2 weeks, that would probably be even better, but once a month is probably the most practical, and even if you can't get to once a month, just do it whenever you remember. So usually what I do is one of the times that I'm watering during the month, I will spray at the same time. So I get my watering done and my pest spraying done, and that happens once a month, and I feel way better. So I've gone through my fair share of pest sprays and what I like to use, but I really like this Dr. Earth Final Stop. I have been using this for, I don't know, 2 years now maybe. I sometimes get the other color bottle, but I find I like the yellow one best. Now this kills and controls aphids, mites, whiteflies, caterpillars, fleas, spiders, and more. Obviously, I'm not really concerned about caterpillars and fleas and spiders, really. I'm really scared of spiders, and I'm not worried about spiders being on my plant. What I'm scared for is aphids, mealies, and spider mites. Honestly, even though this doesn't specifically list mealy bugs, I have not had an issue with mealies once I started using this. So I don't know if it's because of this or I've just gotten lucky. And you can totally go your own route of making your own, which I have done before and sometimes still do. You could do a blend of a little bit of dish soap, water, neem oil, or you could just take out the neem oil if you want and just do a little bit of dish soap and water. that can work just as well sometimes. So for number 4, this is probably my least important one, but I kind of threw it in there because if you have extra time, it is kind of nice to do. But you will see this one recommended on a lot of plant care things to do, and that is wiping your leaves. But honestly, who is gonna wipe all their leaves on their plants? Especially when you have a lot, or especially when you have a plant like this pothos where there's a million smaller size leaves. Like, that's gonna take forever. So to me, it's not really realistic to expect people to wipe down all of their leaves once every 2 weeks or something. Now, I will say there are benefits, sure, on top of just not looking super dusty. It's said that keeping your leaves dust free will help kind of keep those pores open and allow your plants to get in everything that they need from sunlight and all that. But I have had some dusty leaves and I have never noticed decline in health due to that. So I don't know, it's not a big deal. But of course, you don't want to be seeing layers of dust on your leaves. It just doesn't look as nice. Same with seeing dust on your shelves in your home. It just doesn't look very pretty. Honestly, just dust your leaves when you feel like it, and maybe treat it as a normal house chore. So when you're doing your normal dusting in your home, just go over and quickly dust your leaves. Or when you water, especially if they're big plants, you can drag them to your shower, hose them down outside if it's warm enough, or even to your kitchen sink if they'll fit in there. And that way you can just spray down the leaves all at once. You kind of don't have to wipe and dust all the leaves. So however you like to do it, it is beneficial to do it every once in a while, but don't expect that to be something you're going to do every 2 weeks or every week or something. That's just a lot. Now for number 5, my last one, and that is pruning. Now there's multiple reasons to prune your plants. You could do it to propagate, to keep an ideal shape or size, or to just cut off damaged leaves and stems. Whatever the reason is though, you should probably do it semi-often. It really doesn't take that long to do. You're just snipping off stems or leaves, and if you end up with a bunch of stems that you don't want because you're not really into propagating, or you already have too many propagations going, I guarantee you could post those on Facebook Marketplace for pretty cheap or even free, and they will likely be swooped up. So maybe consider doing that, or even giving to family and friends. I find that always makes a really cute little gift, especially if you start the propagation off for them, so that they for sure will have a rooted cutting. That's always better than unrooted. Propagating is not hard, and it also helps to keep your plants looking nice and full. If you notice a vining plant is looking a little too scraggly, there are some chunks of the vine that don't have any leaves for whatever reason, just cut those off, and it also encourages more growth to your plant. And of course, if you notice a plant getting too big to your liking, you could always cut that back. Or if there's damaged leaves, of course, you're just gonna want to pull those off anyway because they're kind of unsightly. So, and I find pruning probably the most therapeutic plant chore. So maybe you would too. So maybe it wouldn't even feel like a chore. So that's it. I feel if you stick to those 5 plant care routines, then you won't really have much to worry about with your plants. There's a million other things you could do. But I find that the more people hover over their plants, the more likely they're going to die. Just kind of let them do their thing. And if you're like me, you want your plant care routines to be simple and stress-free. And if that means downsizing, then do that. That's what I did. I have definitely downsized my collection a lot, and I'm thinking about downsizing a little bit more. And for future, just keep in mind to kind of keep low maintenance plants in your home if you're not looking to care for super finicky plants. So let me know if there are any other plant care tips you have and you think that everyone should be doing. Like, what do you think I should add to this? And as always, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate it. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you later. Bye.